but just want to ask you what it's been like having a full week and a half now without BJ there, and just working with the two younger guys and how that's been.
Well, we're fortunate to have the off week just because we weren't thrown into the fire in 6 days later type situation. So it's been good to get more reps, more practice time, not only for the quarterbacks but for all the other positions that we've working new guys in or younger players. So it's been a beneficial thing. There's no doubt about it. It's kind of given us a little bit of time to take a deep breath and giving those guys just more reps. To practice situations. Pressure, red zone, whatever it may be, to get more reps in those situations.
How much does the game plan change now that BJ's out and they got two new quarterbacks? So, obviously, a lot of run happy with BJ.
Yeah, I think there's two things you look at going into a game, and every game takes on its own image, so to speak. One, some of the quarterback run, either or game, you don't emphasize that as much because of, that's one of BJ's strengths, obviously, as an athlete. That part diminishes a little bit. And two, you'll take maybe a little bit different approach because of the experience factor. We don't really call different plays per se in the passing game, but maybe what you pick and choose from, where you ask him to throw the ball, how you ask him to throw the ball, especially early, until you find out how the guy reacts to the start. You don't ever know. Every game is a new game, so we'll change maybe a little bit of the philosophy of what we ask him to do early and let the game kind of evolve and then go from there. But in terms of what we do outside of the quarterback run game, we won't change a lot because both these guys at practice, we'll just try to pick and choose for their strengths and how they handle the game situations.
Coach Holst was talking yesterday about how Bobby's played against Miami, has played on the road, has experience kind of as an advantage for him.
Sure.
What are some of the advantages that Floyd has if he's the guy?
I think two things. He's gotten a little bit more of the reps this fall, when we were trying to hold Bobby out, and that's one thing. So he's gotten probably a little bit more work. They both have gotten work. He's a little bit more mobile. He gets the ball out a little quicker. He's a little bit more of a athletic, I guess you'd say. He has a very good knack of getting the ball out on time, bang, 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 and he can shoot out of his hand pretty well. So I think the mobility and the ability to get the ball out a hair quicker is probably where I see his edge, and he can probably improvise and make some plays on his own, more so than Bobby can, just athletically. Bobby's got a little stronger arm, than Matt does, but I think that would be Matt's strengths right now as you look at it comparatively to what Bobby does.
Has BJ played an active role in getting the guys ready as far as offering his experience?
He talks to those guys, during the long weekend, he had the surgery last week when we were practicing, so he was gone. He came back to one practice, was here this morning. He'll come back around more as this week progresses because he's been kind of laid up with the ankle, obviously with the surgery. But he talks to him, and then he'll be close to him, I'm sure, as we get closer to the weekend. He'll talk to those guys a little more. But, I think he'll help those guys out more on the side, because it's easy to talk, but until you go through it, it's a hard thing for people to realize. As everybody knows, it's a hard position to play, and that thing, it happens fast. And so until you kind of live it, it's hard to really relate to it. But I think they'll talk to him, I'm sure, as we get closer to game time.
With no BJ, especially now with no BJ, but coaches talk all the time about how important the extra 2 or 3 weeks of practice is if they make a bowl game and getting guys ready for the next year.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd like to make a bowl game, but
Sure.
assuming that you don't, you have essentially 2 or 3 weeks now from now till the end of the season with the new
quarterback.
Yeah, with a new guy. I mean, is it kind of the same?
Yeah, it's probably better in the spring because you're actually playing games, and there's no substitute for playing games. And as we mentioned earlier, the week off last week was a big help because we got more time to practice with these guys. So, but yeah, there's no doubt it's a great kickoff for both of them. Whatever we decide to do, whoever kind of takes over this thing and goes, you can't substitute game experience. So it will be a great spring for those guys. Forward to next season.
And it's not just the quarterback. I mean, you've been putting young guys in.
Oh yeah, 2 offensive linemen are freshmen. A couple of receivers are young. We're kind of young. 2 freshmen and tight end. I mean, we got a lot of young guys out there getting reps. So long term, it's a great thing. You'd like to have some of your veterans back too, but it's just part of the deal. You can't look back. You got to move forward.